Jackass in a BMW thinks he can park in front of the handicap ramp at our church. By user Putrid, Chipmunk8 170. I had just arrived at church. A good friend Kyle was in his custom electronic wheelchair and he was furious. You see, someone had parked a new BMW right in front of the ramp that Kyle uses to get in.
Well, I went inside and got a wheelchair.
I went down the steps and picked him up and carried him to the church's wheelchair. I then, with 3 other guys, we picked up and carried Kyle's chair to the top of the stairs. After I put Kyle in his chair and went to my car, I pulled up so close they could not move their car. I then went into the church and joined the service. About 45 minutes a man enters and looked around, so I got up and asked him if I could help him. He stayed sullen, blocked him in. We went outside and I said, how inconvenient. I then proceeded to tear this guy a new hole. After me chewing them out for 15 minutes, I said they would have to wait. They were furious and threatening to call 911, claiming that they were being held against their will. Well, I had already called the police on the non-emergency line. When the police finally showed up, I backed up. They were spinning a story when the cop asked why they were parked in front of the ramp. As he chewed them out, I just walked away, smiling. They got multiple tickets, one for the ages. The best quitting a role I have ever seen. By user Pros, and I recently chatted with a former colleague we'll call Jen. We worked at a large insurer. She reminded me of her epic quitting takedown of the chemo. The workplace was absolute hell. 2. 3 people crying at their desks, being singled out for minor mistakes, called every name in the book by execs in meetings, etc. Jen had sent an urgent email blast promoting a new benefit. However, she sent it to the wrong email list. Indeed, in the grand scheme. The KMO emailed our 150 marketing department, saying something like, Jen screwed up big time. Hopefully no one else is this dumb to do it again. That night, Jen swiped into the building, cleaned out her desk, left her badge laptop, but not before replying all to Emo's email with fuck you. Everyone minus insert Camo director names. It was a pleasure. I feel bad for you all. And attached a pung of an email sent to her by Simo, prior to sending the wrong email, where the Camo A director approved it to the audience. To this day, it makes me laugh. I respect the hell out of her lol. This guy drives very loudly by my house every day. I found out where he lives and do the same. By user Sweaty Engineer 1418. For context, I live sort of on a curve. Every single day, this guy drives by my house around 6 p.m. in his big jacked up truck and will punch the gas and be very loud as he goes around the turn. He's got one of those stupid modified exhausts. He must know I don't like it because he'll be even more rambunctious if I'm outside. One day I was driving and recognized the truck, which apparently just so happens to be in his driveway about 2 miles down the road. So every time I drive by his house, I make sure to punch the gas and drive like an asshole. Sometimes I'll even lay on the horn a few times, even though it's late at night. Friends made fun of my singing, so I sabotaged their performance. By user DarkPhoenix86. This happened a few weeks ago. I don't know how it is done in Protestant churches in other countries, but in our church, there's room for solos, duets, or different groups singing to the rest of the church during the service, which is not a part of the liturgy. 2 of my friends, let's call them Mark and Lucy, who happen to be siblings, always sing a duet on guitar almost every week. Sometimes they ask some other people to sing with them too. One Sunday morning, I overheard them laughing and talking with other people, making fun of me, saying I sucked and how I couldn't carry a tune, and even the sound of me farting was pitchy. I know I'm not a good singer, but still, it was hurtful. So during the sermon, I excused myself to the toilet, and before I walked out, I decided to untune Mark's guitar, which was leaning against the wall at the back. When it was finally time for them to perform, it took him around 5 minutes trying to retune it while everyone was waiting and staring at them. It was really awkward. And even then, some of the strings were buzzing, and he could not find their original key for Lucy to sing in. She ended up singing very, very low below her natural range, and it sounded like she was trying so hard not to burst into tears. It was so bad. Who sucks now, huh? So, shutting the water off. By user Tell1968, I debated posting this. I finally decided to do it. It happened in 2014. My wife and I moved into a condo. It was a condo attached to other condos. Everyone else had bought their condo. We were the only ones renting. A property management company owned our condo. Our next door neighbor was an absolute bee. The first day we were moving in, she pulled in next to us. Everyone had a parking spot in front, one for each condo. We also had a garage in the back and could park in the back. When she pulled in, I tried to say hello and introduce myself. She totally ignored me and walked inside. I felt wow, and I knew that she would not be nice. Over the next couple years, she had absolutely no use for us. We have 2 sons. Our younger son was autistic. He never bothered anyone else, but he did have his problems. Sometimes in the day when he was awake, he could be loud. Usually when he was angry and he would yell. He would often walk outside. We would have to go out and try and calm him down and bring him back in. It could probably be annoying, but it certainly didn't require calling police. She called the police on us more than once. She would also tell the others in the condo complex that O was bothering their cars. He never touched their cars, but he liked to look at them. He would lean down and examine the grill. He would say something about being police. He loved police shows. She caused a fight with another person in a condo. O came home from school one day in October. The windows were open at the time, and I heard someone yelling at him. He was crying because he didn't understand what was going on. He was on the sidewalk and was looking at a car. He was not touching it in any way, since she had told everyone he was messing with cars. That's what this guy thought he was doing. He also looked much older than what he was. He was already about 5'8" and 230 lb. He was only 13. I got outside and was trying to tell the guy he hadn't touched his car. He was angry just because O was looking at it. I kept telling the guy that O was only 13, but he didn't believe me. He attacked O. O was confused and didn't understand what was going on. O was also in a wrestling club. This guy grabbed O around the neck. O bit the guy's arm and left a nice bloody mark. The cops were called and the guy tried to have O arrested. The cops wouldn't do it. Of course, they also wouldn't do anything to the guy. I wanted to press charges. I kept telling them that he had attacked a 13-year-old. They didn't care because they didn't want to file any paperwork. I'm sure she almost got us evicted because of this. She called the management company and said that O had attacked someone. They started the eviction proceedings until I called and explained what happened. I did not know until then that she had called them. They stopped the eviction proceedings. These condos were weird because the water shut-off for the condo was in the other person's condo. The water shut-off for ours was in her condo. Her water shut-off was in ours. I do not know why they were like that because it never made any sense to me. Every condo had someone else's water shut off in it. We woke up one Saturday morning and we had no water. She had left that morning. I have no idea where she went since she never talked to us and never had any use for us. She was gone for a week. I called the water company, but there were no water outages. We finally figured out that she had turned the water off before she left. We went without water for the whole weekend. We had to wait till Monday before they could contact someone with a spare key. There was a person that had spare keys for all the condos. I don't know the specifics of it other than they were gone on weekends. I don't know who held the keys. It was quite an expensive weekend for us. We had to buy water to flush the toilet. We had to eat out for all our meals because we could not wash anything. I worked on the weekends at the time, so we all had to go to the health club that we belonged to, just so that we could take a shower. Of course, when she came back, she claimed that she didn't realize she shut our water off. I knew right away that that was bees. She knew she was shutting our water off. She knew that the water shut off valve went to our condo. We moved out in November of 2014. We wanted to be out by Thanksgiving. We were all done by the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. That's when I saw my chance. We didn't care about the property management company since we were moving somewhere else. This woman had company over for Thanksgiving. She only had one vehicle. There was a vehicle in her garage. I saw it pulling in while we were moving stuff out of the garage. So I know she had company over. We got our last load out by 10:00 p.m. that night. We were not turning the keys into the property management company until Monday. I knew that she would not be able to get a spare key until they opened on Monday. Whoever kept the keys for all the condos would not have been available till Monday either. So just before I locked the door to leave, I went to the water shut-off valve and shut it off. I wanted her to be without water like we had been.
I didn't tell my wife because she doesn't believe in revenge.
I didn't tell her until the next week. So this lady had to go without water for Thanksgiving weekend. Neither her or her guest would be able to shower or even flush the toilets. Maybe I was wrong, but I don't care. She had screwed us over so many times. I saw my chance to get back at her.